AP Masters class, what's up, G? Yes, I'm checking in, but I have a specific reason for checking in, which I usually do if I come in the middle of the week, right? So you know how we've been talking about stay away from the past, or don't get attracted to the past and things like that. Past situations, past behaviors, past people, past, like we moved on, has been the theme here in the convent. Like we on to some new shit, right? So I was talking to God about it, and I always go back to that story where the dude wanted to follow Jesus, but his dad had died, and he wanted to go back to go like get the arrangements together, right? So they told me to read that part again, and we're gonna ask some questions about what happened to the man who decided to go back to the past, because I feel like they want us to learn a lesson about what happens to people that go back to the past, aka the man that didn't want to follow Jesus because he had to go handle his daddy shit, right? So it's Luke chapter 9, verse 58 through 62, okay? It says Jesus was curt, which I had to look up that word, and it said rudely brief. I was like, that must be where I get it from. Yeah, he was rudely brief when he said, are you ready to rough it? We're not staying in the best inns, Jesus said to another, follow me. He said, certainly, but first excuse me for a couple of days, please. I have to make arrangements for my father's funeral. Jesus refused. First things first, your business is life, not death, and life is urgent. Announce God's kingdom. Then another said, I'm ready to follow you, master, but first excuse me while I get things straightened out at my home. Jesus said, no procrastination, no backward looks. You can't put God's kingdom off till tomorrow. Seize the day, aka carpe diem. Okay? It made total sense to me. So he asked people like, come roll with me. Just like you didn't ask people, be a part of my team. What's up with me and you? Let's work together. Let's be together. Let's whatever, right? You've asked certain people and they went back to the past, G. It's the same thing. And he didn't fight him neither. He tried to tell him, like, let the dead bury the dead. Your business is life. Your business ain't death or old shit. And people still went back, G, okay? So I feel like this is a lesson that they want us to learn about what happens when you go back to the past, because nobody knows what happened to the man that went back to make the funeral. I want to know what was wrong with his daddy. First of all, was the daddy dead? Because I ran in like some other research I was doing about that. They said in those times it was just typical for the oldest son or the man of the house to stay around till the father passed away. It's not necessarily that the man's father passed away, but in the event that he did, it was going to be his responsibility to take care of the arrangements. So the man's dad possibly wasn't even sick. It's just tradition. I stick around until my daddy gets sick, until my daddy die. And Jesus like, that could be forever. You know what I mean? Like, but you alive though. Like, what's going on here? This type of shit, okay? So we're gonna see what's up with this one of the biblical classes that we do. I can never pull on Jesus or his mama, but everything else I can pull on different characters, okay? So we're gonna pull on this story and see what's up, because I want to know if the man daddy was really sick for real, because the man just said, I need a couple days, please. He said, certainly, but first excuse me for a couple of days, please. I have to make arrangements for my father's funeral. I want to know if the daddy was dead already, though. Not that the man was lying, but was it a tradition thing? Like anticipating the day of his father's death that's just tradition, or was the father dead already? So let's see. I hope I'm making sense with this lesson here, okay? Where was the daddy already passed away when this happened? He was transitioning, it's traveling. So the daddy was still moving and breathing. Yeah, the daddy man had some heart issues or something going on. So the daddy was sick. So the dad was, like I said, was transitioning. So it's like the dad was in hospice, or the dad was, bedridden and had however many months to live or something like that, is what I'm picking up with the daddy of the man who wanted to go make the funeral arrangements instead of follow Jesus. So, I mean, it was true, which I said, I didn't feel like the man was lying. So I guess Jesus was like, you already know where he going though, They said he was Kurt, okay? Somebody's name could be Kurt, Curtis or something. Put another one down here about the man's daddy. Peace. Yeah, he was gonna rest in peace anyway. They make me feel like, because if you think about it, if Jesus asked that man to come follow him, Jesus must have seen something in the man, right? Like, you make a good disciple. So, I mean, it almost makes me feel like Jesus would have brought him comfort in regards to his father passing away had the man not been there. So let's say the man went ahead and followed Jesus, and then he got word that his father passed away. Some type of peace would have come over the man about his father. I mean, shoot, you with Jesus, G, who's the Son of God. Surely you, some type of revelation or something's gonna come about your father or something like that. Like the man was too earthbound. But yes, the daddy was transitioning. He was. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, this whoever, well, not whoever, but the man's dad had already like been diagnosed with something. Like the man was sick, like a sick man. I don't know if he was sick all his life, right? We're talking about the other man's daddy, right? The man who was supposed to follow Jesus, we're talking about that man's daddy. The man could have been sick all his life, grew up sick, or something like that. Yeah, or it could have just been a disruption period as far as the devil's trick. You got the devil here with this one, aka the fool, but it's also the devil energy with the two, a demonic spirit. And not say the demonic spirit was on the daddy, but you know how like the spirit of fear was over the man. Well, what if I miss my dad's funeral and the family talk about, like, you know, like all that was so basically it was like a bunch of mind fucks going on through the man's mind. Okay, but his daddy was sick and dying. It is true. That's a tough place to be put in. Honestly, that's why I'm so intrigued by the story. And it said Jesus was a little rude too. Like, man, then get on then. Basically is what he said. Like, dang, stall him out, G. His daddy sick. But Jesus must have known something the man didn't about where his daddy was going or what was, you know he did. You know he knew something. Put something down on the daddy now. Yep, this the daddy. Shit, the daddy look quite healthy, don't he? That's why when I told you I did that research and they were saying it's not necessarily that the dad had died. That was just tradition. You know what I mean? To stick around until the father had died. But what if the tradition was, well, now that your dad has died, now you're responsible for taking over the rest of the house, the household. So you can't follow Jesus anyway. It's kind of giving me this type of energy. That's why I said it was a trap by the devil the whole time. Because your business is life. You're supposed to be traveling. Don't your daddy want you to go on and be a strapping young man? And, you know, is what, you know, Jesus was probably thinking. Like, your dad should want the best for you. And I am the best for you. Right? And he like, nah, I got to go back to my daddy, you know, go do the funeral thing. But the daddy looked like, I told you the daddy, whatever was wrong with him, he grew up like that. Okay? So this is like somebody that's, I don't know, got a speech impediment or something. And they done had it all their life. And Jesus said, well, come follow me. And somebody's like, no, I got to go teach I got a speech impediment class on Monday. Jesus like, you've been had a speech impediment all your life. Like, what you mean? Like, how you know I can't heal you from that speech impediment? How did the man not know? How did the man didn't even know. How did he not know that Jesus could have healed his daddy from afar? Because you know he did that for that Roman soldier that said his son or somebody was sick. And Jesus was like, take me to the boy. And he was like, nah, you can just say, be healed to my son, like from where we are. He was like, and my son will be, because I give orders to my soldiers when I'm not around them, and they do exactly what I tell them to. So I know if you put it out in the atmosphere, basically said the soldier, for my son to be well, and he will. And it happened, G. So same shit. How did the man whose dad was going to die didn't know that maybe being around Jesus could heal his father from whatever was going on? But he was too earthbound, like too stuck in tradition, you know? But the daddy looked fine to me. But the daddy was sick, yes. But the daddy wasn't like on his way out. So the man said a couple of days, but how did he know? Because that is 1 to 2 days. But shoot, the daddy be done got well. And now he like, dang, well, we gonna find out what happened to the man. But it looked like the daddy man had some issues or something. But again, it was something that he had been born with. And probably the son has it too. The man who was asked to follow Jesus probably had the same issue that the daddy had, because it looks hereditary. If I'm making sense and y'all know the story, that's why I gave you the verse first. So if you need to read it and come back, you can. Put one on the daddy. The daddy look good though. I remember I was talking about hospice. The daddy don't look like he on hospice. Plan on leaving no time soon. So it feels more like tradition, like I said, especially with the pentacles, which would be Hierophant energy, which is tradition, church, beliefs, things like that. Yeah, that's just the way he grew up. The boy believing that you don't leave your father, you don't leave, you know, this type of thing. So this could resonate with some of y'all, meaning some of y'all grew up like that. Like, no, you don't leave your parents, your family, your this, your that, your this, your that. But after God, or you know what I mean, has called you to, why would you not? How do you know that whatever God is calling you to do is not going to heal whatever this is you're trying to stick around for? You know what I mean? Or fix whatever this is what I'm picking up with the man daddy. Okay? Put one on the daddy. Message. Yeah, the daddy don't, I mean, I'm sure the daddy was sick, G. Like the man said. I have to make arrangements for my father's funeral. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he got a word about his daddy. But if he already was with his dad, then he already knew what was up. I feel like this is just what sons did for their fathers, like what I had told y'all. You know, that's just the way he was raised. That's what he was taught. That's what his daddy did for his daddy. So I didn't leave my family, you know what I mean? Says this man's daddy. I stayed till my daddy died, and then I took over the household. So that's why this man was like, well, I can't follow you, Jesus, because my daddy's daddy did that. And so it's the same shit. It's the same shit. So this man was bound to repeat so he just basically repeated a cycle. He went back to repeat a cycle. And it was, I understand. I'm sure Jesus did too, but he was just a little bit more rougher than the Nunsky, as you could see, okay? Because he started out saying, are you ready to rough it? We're not staying in the best inns, you know. Meaning, shoot, we may not even have a home, may not have no food, may not be looking the best or none of that. So I don't know if that's why the people were like, oh, well, my daddy is sick and, you know, like this time, I don't know if it was, had he said something different, like, well, you know, we staying up in the palace, we eating shrimp cocktail, we popping bubbly, right, every night. Would the people have been like, oh, okay, well, then I'll roll with you. Because I noticed it wasn't until he says, are you ready to rough it? We're not staying in the best inns, you know. Then he asked one to follow him. It was after that when he asked people. So that could have changed people's mind. Like, man, you said you ain't staying in the best inns. I'm goody. Says some of these people is how they're making me feel. Because he asked another man. I think it was 3 that he asked. There was one before he asked the man to, with the funeral, the man we're pulling on. And then there was another one after that. And all of them refused, G. All of them. So it's like a bunch of people kept telling you no. You know what I mean? Honestly, it was their loss if you think about it. If you're going to put yourself in the Christ consciousness energy, whose loss would it be from all these people telling you no, they don't want to fuck with you? Hello? That's why it's important not to go back to the past, because it ain't your loss, G. It really ain't. It's theirs. Anyway, I want to know how the man felt after Jesus told him, first things first, your business is life, not death. Which is basically let the dead bury the dead. Announce God's kingdom is what he told him. Like, you got other stuff y'all here you're supposed to be doing. You know, like you were born to do something. Not to be the pallbearer of your father, is basically what he was telling them. Let's see how the man felt after Jesus told him that. Like, well, I mean, then go on then, brother. Basically. How'd the man feel? Yeah, he was real emotional. He thought Jesus was going to say yes. This flew on the floor, I put it back. He got real emotional. He thought Jesus would understand. They say Jesus is a kind man. Well, he should understand times in this crime land, is what Tupac has said. But I feel like that's what the man felt too. Like, you're supposed to be a kind, you know, like surely you'd understand, says this man to the Messiah. He was very emotional about Jesus telling him that, well, then get on there. Then go do what you got to do then, my brother. Ooh. All right. Give me one for how the man felt. Like he needed to get the fuck out. You know what I mean? He knew where this conversation was going to go if he tried to combat that. Like, well, Jesus, it's just a couple days now. You know I got to be. He already knew. And Jesus told him, well, then go, sir. Jesus didn't argue with him or nothing. Go on. What could he do? He was emotional, but he left. We saw the kid in the pool. So he was full of emotion, but he went on. So reluctantly so. So he chose his daddy over Jesus, basically, because he went on. We don't hear about him being a disciple. Okay? So he made a decision. 2 lines. Yeah. You can't play with this here. You either blood in or blood out, says the Messiah to this man. And he felt like this ain't the one to be playing games and humming and hawing and going back and forth with. Yeah, so he kind of just... It's almost like when they go back to Tatiana. It's like you saying you either in or you out. You either with me or you with them. And I don't want you talking to them no more. That's the end of them. Right? And this person can't give up Tatiana. So reluctantly so, they go the fuck back. It's like this type of shit. So he felt like he didn't have no choice. And a bunch of people watched him walk away. Like, man, he's straight. These are like people watching the man walk away. People saying, man, Jesus straight asked you to be a disciple and you told him no? And they just watched the man walk away like, wow. He ain't asked us. He looked right over me, says other people, and looked at you and said, come follow me. And you said, no, says the other people that were looking at him. Some of them, other men. How'd the man feel? I like these readings, actually, but I have to wait for them to tell me what character to pull on. I don't like to just be digging in this deep of Akashic, you know, like this deep in the Akashic. So I'll wait for them to tell me, but I love doing these. They kind of are the best. All right. How was the man feeling? Yin and yang, balance. I feel like he was up and down. About his daddy, though. For is the emperor. I mean, yes, Jesus is the emperor, the Messiah, but he wasn't even like really recognized as that yet. I mean, I guess he was like a leader, but this making me feel like his dad was on. What would his daddy do? See, that's dad and son. His dad took precedent over the Messiah, you know? And I'm sure that, because if we're going to talk about signs, synchronicity, spirit guides, this will be like them warning the man, aka like how they warn us, like, don't do it. I think you need to go this way. Like, that's where your blessing is. That's where everything you've been looking for all your life is. He like, yeah, but my daddy, though. I got to do what my daddy did for his daddy, and my son going to do for me what I did for my... It's like this type of thing. Okay, so he felt like that was going to bring him... He was chained to it. You see the chain? He was chained to this shit. But I feel like he was also chained to what, like, Jesus told him. You know how somebody will tell you something and it just... You never forget what they said? Like, it just almost haunts you? That's what this feels like. He dang sure wasn't gonna go back and forth with her. They giving me that energy, really strong. Like, you know, like almost like maybe the man could have been argumentative with other people, but he knew better. You know, like he would have rebutted that. Like, well, how much? How much do you need? Well, you can't wait that. You can't wait a couple days. Just come through. You know, like this type of thing. He didn't even go back and forth with him. Like, yeah, he just went the fuck on. Shit. I guess you want to be chaff, cause this is my weak card. So he felt like he like made a decision, y'all, to like purposely go back. You know what I mean? Like there was no, like Jesus was like, you can come or you can go. And he was like, I guess I'll go then. And Jesus was like, well, all right then, this or that away. You know, look like you chained to your daddy. Okay? It hurt that man. He felt real kind of like, you know, torn. He felt torn. And I feel like, man, that's why I know we ain't Jesus, okay? Oh, we are not Jesus, because he didn't give a hot damn, okay? And I'm sitting here like, man, this is daddy. You know what I mean? Because my daddy gone. And wasn't nothing gonna stop me from going to my daddy's funeral. You know what I mean? Like, or my brother, or any, you know what I mean? Anybody that I love is my thinking. But Jesus didn't ask me to come follow him neither. But I'm in this mindset now. Had I been in this one, I don't know what I would have done either. That's why I'm like, dang, it's kind of messed up, you know? But it is what it is. These are the dangers of going back to the past. So the man already knew when he made that decision, like that was it. Give me another one here for the man, how he felt when Jesus told him to let the dead bury the dead, and your business is life, not death, and life is urgent. Yeah, what could the man do? But move on. Queen of Wands. That's moving on. He tried to save face a little. It's like patting down your shirt like, anybody seen my keys? Like this type of thing, you know? I feel like he felt embarrassed because there were other people around. He had to go. He just went on. Just felt like, okay, that's my cue. Pretty much. Yeah, he got the energy back he put out. 6 of Pentacles. Like, you're not going to get an argument from me, says the Messiah. I'm not going to plead with you. Like, please be my disciple. Well, then you can go, sir. Life is urgent. It's so urgent that I ain't even got time to argue with you or plead with you to be my disciple or nothing. Because you already chained to something. And if you chained to that, you can't be with me. Because you know what I mean? You got to give up everything. That's why he said, you know, we ain't staying in the best hotels and motels, if any at all. Okay? So go on now. Go on now. That's how the man felt. Like, you can't handle this no way, sir. Okay? You can't handle this, sir. Oh, wow. Well, this is just how he felt when Jesus told him, you know what I mean? Let the dead bury the dead. But if you must, then you can go on dead. Read another one for how the man felt. A fox in socks. I told you he felt embarrassed like Diddy. That's my Diddy card from now on. You okay with them damn socks? Yeah, he felt like a clown. Okay? Called out in front of people. You know what I mean? I don't think he was expecting Jesus to say that to him. I think he was expecting Jesus to have compassion like how we just did. You know what I mean? Like it's his daddy and all of that. But this like tuck and tail. Okay? This like tuck and tail and running. Okay? Like dipping up out of there like he didn't know what to say. Because I feel like he really admired Christ, this man here. You know? So he was very disappointed. That's why we got that emotional card. Because it's like, well, dang, you know? I don't know I'm going to ask what he think Jesus was going to do. Because that's just how he felt when Jesus told him, all right, then. The road isn't that way. Back to you, house sick. Okay? Don't be wasting my time, you understand? Okay? What did he think Jesus was gonna do? Like, yeah, I told you. Care. I told you. Care. Like you know how it feels to lose someone. Like, pay it forward, man. They said you nice. They said you to pay it forward, man. Give me low, man. Like he thought he was gonna like pause the whole mission. You know what I mean? So pulling on his heartstrings, aka what I've been telling y'all, using nostalgia or your spirituality or your religion, or well, God says, you know, be patient. God says help your brother and sister. Like he was expecting Jesus to fall on that type of law or that type of rhetoric or whatever, or to apply that to this situation. I told you, Jesus like, I ain't your mama, boy. We got a mission. Do you understand? We on a mission, okay? One monkey don't stop no shit, no. Okay, basically. Yeah, he thought Jesus was gonna coddle them, G. Like, oh, there. No. I don't have time for that. Put one on what the man thought Jesus was gonna do. Yeah, just spend it all. Just, you know, waste it all. Just here, good luck. Like, I don't know what he thought he was gonna do, honestly. 10, balance something out for him. Like, be like, well, I could stay one day, I can't stay 2, says Jesus. So, like, just change his schedule around, I'm telling you. Like, lose time, lose something. 11. Yeah, put his divinity on hold. 10 cents and the penny is 11. Put his divinity on hold. Like I said, put the mission on hold for some karmic contract. And not that his daddy was karmic, but I mean, with life and death, we all have a contract here. So Jesus, like, everybody gonna die. So I'm supposed to put my divinity on hold because I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die at 33 if you didn't know, sir. Right? Is this kind of energy they're giving me. So I can't have time to wait on you to bury your daddy when I only got amount of time myself. He didn't tell him that, but that's the energy that they're giving me. So the man thought Jesus was gonna put his whole mission and stuff on hold because his daddy was gonna die. And we don't even know when. Labyrinth. That man had more time to go. We saw him come out as the King of Pentacles. He didn't come out as the Hermit. You know what I mean? Which will be an old man and suffering. He did have some illness. I will give him that. He did. But man, come on. That's like us having high blood pressure. Okay? And somebody wanting to stay around us talking about any minute now the convent can go. Not these days. You know, we got high blood pressure medicine. It feels like whatever the daddy had was either controlled or he lived with it all his life, or it was inevitable anyway, as far as, you know, it wasn't like it wasn't like a tragedy, like oh my God, my dad, Jesus, like he just suddenly, you know, my mom, you know, like none of that. It was like, I have to prepare. And Jesus like, what are you talking about, G? Put one down on what he thought Jesus was gonna do. 3 of Swords. Yeah, feel bad. I told you. Feel bad, like heart broke. Like, oh my God, I gotta end everything for that boy daddy. Okay? Looky here. We're gonna put everything on hold at least for 1 to 2 days while Tony gets stuff ready for his, you know, but this the Messiah saying this though. Come on, man. You really thought he was gonna do that? Like betray his own divinity, his own contract is what he thought he was gonna do because he loved people. Yeah, people, not a person. People, sir. So your daddy and you are part of a whole plan. It ain't just about you and your daddy. So I guess the man just thought he was going to get special treatment because Jesus pointed him out. He told Jesus, it says Jesus said to another, follow me, which makes me feel like Jesus was like you. You know what I mean? So you got singled out to point, you know what I mean? And maybe that's why he thought Jesus would put it on hold because, shoot, you asked me to come kick you, Jesus. You know what I mean? So surely you can wait for me if you want me to roll, says the man. What? So somebody, to dumb it down, this is like somebody who thought you wait on them. Like, you got me all the way fucked up, says the Convent. Like but you loved them though, Convent, or you had a kid with them or some shit like that, or this was your divine counterpart. So they think that you'll wait on them. You'll coddle them and shit and betray your divinity and all this other shit for that. Man, they had you fucked up just like this man had him all fucked up, okay? Oh, then go on then. Life is urgent. Okay, so you can go be with whoever you need to be with, but I'm about to stop what I'm doing for that. Are you crazy? Tatiana always gonna be a thought, okay? Or so-and-so always gonna be codependent, needy, this and that always gonna be happening. We always gonna have money problems. So if that's what's gonna keep you there or you gotta keep trying to fix that, then go on, because that's just the world, my G. And I'm not about to stop for you because it's some worldly issue or shit that just happened to people on a daily basis. Pretty much is what he has said. Oh, wow. Told you it was 3 of them. They don't say what the other, they say what the other one said. I need to look. Hold on one second. Because I got the one with the funeral, and then there was another one that said he needed to get his home in order, whatever that means. Like, what does that even mean, sir? What does that even mean, sir? That's just like some shit like, I'm not really ready to settle down, or I'm not really ready for something serious. Like, what does that even mean? Like, is that in your whole life, or is that just, it's like real bullshit is what it felt like with the other man. But let me see something real quick. Divine Feminine, this is probably relevant to you. Aaliyah's playing in the back. Let me see. Okay, the first man asked on the road. Someone asked if he could go alone. If I could go alone, I'll go with you wherever, he said. And that's the one he said, are you ready to rough it? We're not staying in the best ends, which makes me feel like that man was like, never mind, because they don't mention him anymore. And because then it says Jesus said to another, which means that conversation was over with the first one who asked him. So this like somebody coming up to you like, oh, what's up? I want to be down. Boop, 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 boop. You like, yeah, well, we're not paying that much. You know what I mean? It's a start out business. And they like, never mind. Just like this type of shit. That's the first one. Here go the second one with the funeral, which is the one we talking about right now. Yeah, like people just supposed to he's supposed to cater to them and shit. Okay? What the hell? I am Destiny's child, says the Messiah, not you. I don't cater to nobody. What are you talking about? Oh, Woo! People had that noise back then, Minerva. They did. Okay. So the first living quarters and the accommodations and shit wasn't right for the first person. That actually, he stopped Jesus and asked himself, can I roll? And then when he found out what street they stayed on, he was like, oh, no, never mind. I'm cool. I'm from the west side, you understand? And Jesus like, well, get your ass on then. You came to me, sucker. Okay? This the one Jesus asked. Yeah, it's like, I guess he expected him to come to the funeral and bring some cake. I don't know. That's what it is. Like, shoot, do you know how to make potato salad? Can you come? Can you maybe do the eulogy or something? He thought he was gonna get special treatment. It's a celebration, bitches. Like, my daddy is like king around here, says the man. Okay, because I'm asking, what did he expect Christ to do? Celebrate his daddy like his daddy was king. I'm like, no, you really got me messed up, says Christ. I am king, okay? And my father is king of all kings, so I don't really know who your daddy is, or says Jesus. I don't really know. You know how y'all get down in your family? But no, I don't celebrate man. Okay? This like that give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar energy too, in regards to taxes and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, I can't hold on to none of that. That shit ain't mine. You know what I mean? Your daddy, that ain't my father, says Christ. Yeah, I guess they thought they was going to get the whole royal treatment. Okay? Because he asked them. Wow. So like I said, somebody thought you were going to wait on them, or you'd always love them, or you'd let them just use you, or have you sitting around while they do whatever it is they want to do, or hum and ha, some shit like that. And that ain't how we get down, okay? There's nothing in that for you. This making me feel like you're the prize. And I'm glad they gave me this verse, because now I totally get what they're saying. You're a prize. I won't say the prize, but you're the blessing in this story with the Christ consciousness here. So whether people ask you or you ask them to join forces with you, love you, come together, be friends, stay family, connect, whatever the hell it is, it's to serve them. Because you're the blessing, so it's to serve them, G. So they turned down a hearty serving of a blessing, G. So why would Jesus beg this man? Hello? I'm here to serve you and give you eternal life. You never know what you maybe be able to tap into your daddy one day. You know what I mean? And all this other stuff. I can assure you that your dad is well with my father. He doesn't even know if that would have happened, because he went back to go bury the man. You know, like he lost out on something that would have still kept him in contact with his father's spirit, is what they're making me feel like. Or his father still would have been proud, or, you know what I mean? Like, that's my son there that became a disciple. Like, to this day, had this man followed Christ, the dad would have been happy, even, you know, years and years later. Like, my son is now named a disciple. The daddy who died can't even say that about his son, because his son came back to bury him. I'm sure the daddy probably like, man, I would have stayed if I was you. You know what I mean? We went down in history as a disciple, and you came back to bury little old me? It's probably what they saying now. But anyway, just my theory, people, with that part. I want to know what happened when the man got back home, because that's what we thought he thought Christ was going to do. Let's see, once the man got back home, what was going on at his house. Probably nothing, G. I bet you wasn't nothing going on. The daddy was watching the game and everything. What was going on when the man got back home? The clapper. Shit, did he make it home? Shit. Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. This is my Wu-Tang card. This is my, what is it, 16 chambers or something like that? I can't remember, but this is my heart card as well. So, shoot, maybe the daddy did go quick. Maybe God was like, well, shoot, you want to go bury him? And just gone. Okay? Or people attacked him when he got home. You know what I mean? Like, the same shit was going on. Not attack them, like beat them up, but it's like somebody staying at a job where they get written up and harassed all day by the boss, and then someone offer them a new job, and they like, no, that one's a little bit too far from my house. So they go back to the job where they treat them all bad, and they get written up again. You know, so really wasn't shit popping at his house, but whatever was popping at the house is always what's popping at the house. You know? The same old shit when he got back. Because you saw Jesus told him to go, get on then when he pointed his finger. So the man went home. His daddy called him, hey, Tony, go get my slippers. Tony, go get my Vicks Vapor Rub. Tony, go get my, I'm telling you, I feel like the daddy made Tony his slag. I don't know if that's the man's name, Tony, but you get what I'm saying. Evil eye, protection. Ooh. Something happened to him. But I mean, that is like a slap in God's face. You know, for you and Christ to meet up. You know, and for Christ to invite you into his camp, and you like, no, my daddy, no, you know. These always are God's hands. Okay, so God was not pleased. Okay, he may not have been pleased with the way that they had brainwashed Tony. You understand? Like this traditional belief, to where Tony would even denounce walking with Christ to come back and take care of his father. This will be God looking down on that displeased for sure. Like, you know what, Tony, that funeral gonna happen in less than 1 to 2 days. Okay, Tony? It's not funny, but that's how they make me feel. Okay? Oh, wow. This is the one I've always been interested in, because I feel like we all can relate to that. Some evil was allowed on this. You see this is like aloe, but I heard allowed. Some evil was allowed. Not saying like, I don't know. It kind of makes sense that something like he would just be susceptible to something. Like you turn down the ultimate protection, the ultimate walk, the ultimate, you know what I mean, connection. You know what I mean, to go back to where death is. You know what I mean, where death and sin dwell. You know, the wages of sin is death. So, I mean, if his dad was going to die and the daddy wasn't on the way to dying and he was just bossing Tony around, that makes sense. Maybe God was trying to get Tony away from his dad because Tony's dad wasn't really good to him. We just giving the man a name, okay? And Tony went back out of tradition, out of love, like how a lot of us want to go back to something. But it looked like it turned out even worse when Tony got back home. You see what I'm saying? Be aware y'all going back to the past. So just in that trip from him going to go meet Jesus, Jesus telling him, come roll with me, Tony. Tony like, nah. I got to take care of my daddy's funeral and stuff like that. Between that time and Tony going back home, something had already switched in Tony's life. Some type of energy. Told you. I don't know. Tony could have got beat up on the way home. Gee, I'm asking what happened when he got there. It popped off at Tony's house. Okay, I don't know if it was a physical fight with his brothers, his sisters, somebody. Okay, but something happened. And I'm sure that's probably at the moment, like he probably said, if I was with Jesus, I just hadn't said yes, I wouldn't even be squabbing right now, fighting for my damn life right now. Yeah, I'd be on my walk right now. But no, I had to come back and make funeral arrangements, says Tony. Yeah, it was like an argument or something. Something happened as soon as he got home, G. And you know that wasn't nothing but God, okay? Like, let me show you what happened, Tony, to people that deny me and my son, G. Oh, wow. So, y'all, as far as, I feel like they're giving us a lesson, yes, about going back to the past, but just so you know, this could apply to someone who went back to someone, who stayed somewhere, who you, like I said, gave an opportunity, or God gave an opportunity to, in order to come into some type of union, not necessarily romantic, but some type of something with you, and they decided to go back. They are Tony. This is what happened when somebody went back to Tatiana, drugs, some dead-end job, back to that family, back to that friend group, right when they had a way out. Yeah, Tony tore up his ticket, they said. Yeah. Tony TTT, yeah, Tony tore up his ticket. They said, I'm gonna name it that. Yeah. And that was it. He was stuck. Like, this is Tony's life now. Like, fighting for everything. This could be for food, money, jobs, everything. Let's see what this is specifically, because this is when the man went back. So that don't look like his daddy, because remember, his daddy came out as the King of Pentacles. So who is this man fighting? This don't even have shit to do with his daddy. Maybe this the daddy breaking it up, or the daddy have him competing with other people in the family. Let's say the man had other brothers that wanted to be in charge of the funeral. They want to take the rank. They want to sit. You know what I mean? They want Tony to go so they get to have a spot. And the daddy put Tony and the other brothers or whatever up against each other. And that's why God wanted Tony out to go follow Christ. But now Tony came back to competing with his brothers again. And his daddy putting them up against each other again. Some shit like that. It was like turmoil in this house. So now I see why Christ offered him to follow him. Because Christ knew what was going on and what was, all the shit that was going on in his life. Wow, this big. That's big. Yeah, he knew. This is my hermit card. This is like the prophet is what this is. This is also missing children. Yeah, so Tony had brothers or sisters, because these are the children we don't know about, missing children. So basically Tony had siblings. So it was other people that could have basically took care of the funeral arrangements is what they're saying. But Tony like, nah. So maybe Tony was the one that wanted to compete with his brothers and let them know he was the one in charge and I'm the one next in line when dad dies and all this other shit, right? But with something toxic about this relationship, and Jesus knew it. Like, they won't even miss you, child. This missing children. They ain't even gonna miss you at your daddy's funeral. It's basically what that says. He probably found out the hard way. I don't know if it was a fight at the... You know how people get down at funerals, G? Okay? Especially siblings or a lady, Tony, daddy could have had a side chick and the fighting the mama. This is what this is. All at the funeral, G, that Tony had to go back to. Yeah, they're all caught up in some mess. Yeah, Tony got caught up in that bullshit, G, when he got back. Ooh, now I want to know how he felt about turning Jesus down. This will be AKA you, right? Now there's somebody all wrapped up in some shit, married somebody, had a kid with them, bought a home, or they accepted someone else's offer, they hired someone else. Now how do they feel about turning the shit down? AKA, now how does Tony feel about telling Christ, nah, I gotta make sure there's something dead, right? Or that is about to die, that's inevitably gonna die, or that's always been sick all its life. I have to go back to that. Yeah, let's see how it feels about doing that now. Once Tony got back to all that bullshit, let's see what happened. How he feeling about telling Christ, nah. How do you feel about it then? Like, damn, I said goodbye to my whole future, G. I said goodbye to my whole future. Yeah, the Father and the Son. I told the father and the son goodbye for my own father that got me fighting my siblings here to make potato salad for a funeral that didn't even happen. Yeah, that's how he felt, G. Like he got motherfucked, pretty much. Like I said, bye to somebody who could have been my best friend, one of my best friends, you know, seen the world with, had good times with, met other people. He saw the future. What his future could have been like is what happened to Tony. Once he realized when he got back home where he was, like, damn, that was a whole, like God, like an olive branch God extended to me to follow Christ, and I chose to come back here. This is when he got a glimpse of, you know, they say hindsight is 20/20. Yes, but it's gone now, Tony. Just like you gone from whatever this is, now somebody sees how it could have been, or what you were offering, or what God was offering when he introduced you or put you in someone's life. Now someone sees. Same thing with Tony, G. Same thing with Tony. Oh, wow. This regrets. Basically, meet the Millers. Pretty much. How Tony feel, just so we know everybody's name, right? It's just Tony and his daddy that was supposed to die but didn't. And Tony got brothers or sisters. I don't know. It feel like brothers, though. But that's still weird. Because they were 5 of wands. And Tony's, unless Tony, daddy, like I said, got other women. Because the people Tony was fighting were wands. And if they were his brothers, shouldn't they have come out as pentacles? So either Tony daddy had multiple wives, okay? And this was like Tony still fighting like his half brothers, you know what I mean, for a position. Or shit, this didn't even have nothing to do with Tony daddy funeral or nothing. Tony just out there in them streets wilding, G. Got beat up and mugged on the way home type shit, you know? Something happened to him as a result, like immediately. So like immediate karma. Like you don't turn down God. You don't say no to him. You don't slap you don't slap anything out of God's hand. Is how they're making me feel. And when you do that, well then you're gonna realize that that's what you did and what you could have had you accepted whatever it is he offers you. So that's why Tony's feeling like, man, I straight said goodbye to my whole future. Way to go, Tony, says Tony to himself. Tony feel like he fuck up all the time. Like, damn. Yeah, hello again, recycle, recover. Yeah, going in a cycle. I told you he didn't have opportunities before. This is somebody, whoever this man is, right, that turned down to walk with Jesus. This man had some opportunities in the past too that he turned down out of family belief, tradition, what he was taught, where he lived, the amount of money he had. I can't do it, like, you know. So this somebody that passed up a bunch of shit. So him passing up or telling Jesus no was not the first time he done turned down some good shit. Good job, good woman. You know what I mean? Able to go move off and be with a woman and have a family of his own. But nah, I gotta stay here in case my daddy die. This shit ain't even happened yet, sir. This shit ain't even happened yet, sir. You just letting your life just pass you by. Burlap. They said they would wear burlap when people died, and they would shave their heads, throw dust over their face, like dirt over them, and put on burlap when people passed away. So I don't know what he saw. This is something about passing away and coming back. It's probably what I said about the daddy. Or if it's not that, he got a revelation that this was really the Messiah, you know what I mean? And he was gonna like resurrect, like miracles were gonna happen. Like he was gonna, like the man Tony was gonna heal, all type of shit was gonna happen. The daddy could have healed, came back to life, you know what I mean? All type of shit. The man realized like he sealed his daddy's faith. So yes, there will be a funeral now, Tony, because you told Jesus no. But in Tony's defense, Tony didn't know that because he felt like if he left, you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to defend Tony. It ain't working. I'm trying, Tony. It's like, because we all been there. But it's like when you don't know what's to come. So, you know, you think about where you're at now. But this is God telling you something. You know what I mean? Through a prophet or through you, divine masculine, divine feminine, or through some type of sign or synchronicity. Somebody always dismisses shit. So Tony did too. Oh, Tony. Yeah, tiger doesn't change his stripes, they said. That's why they call him Tony. So nothing was changing. When he went back, it was the same shit going on. You know, no job, you know what I mean? Nobody to date, the same food. You know, with Jesus, at least we traveling from city to city. We may camp out under the stars because he said we may not have nowhere to live. You know, it was like, you know, like camaraderie, like what he was longing for, like to feel a part of something is what Tony is realizing he would have had. He would have been part of history or a part of something really great. Is how he felt once he realized he had went back home, and that Tony tore his ticket up. Told you, Empress. He was gonna manifest great things. He was like around a whole boss, G. Okay? So, and it wasn't even the daddy, it's the mama. They telling me the mama went first. I don't know what the tradition is for mothers, but that's a mama that they would put on burlap and shave their heads and throw dirt on them for, right? In honor of, in memory for mourning and things like that. So it looked like they did it for the mama. And I don't even know if it was a tradition. Like when the mama died, it looked like when the mama died back then, they're like, all right then, mom. But when the dad died, it's a big old thing, you know, the patriarch. So they telling me the dad outlived his mama. So that's what he realized too. Like, damn, I came back thinking my daddy gonna die and my dang mama die, and my daddy lived forever. You know how God work in mysterious ways? Yeah, the mama went first. Or he was told that. Because I'm asking, how did he feel once he realized he was trapped and that ticket was gone? He realized that his mama was going to go first, and that's who he was going to be mourning over. And there was no tradition, no funeral arrangements or nothing. You just say goodbye to your mama. That's it. You know what I mean? Everything that he was going to manifest and everything he was set to do, have a wife or some children of his own, say goodbye to all that shit. Because you knew all the women and everybody wanted to be around. Nobody knows what happened. I mean, we know like kind of what happened to the disciples after, but I'm saying they had families of their own once Jesus ascended. It's like they went on, did their own things, taught the gospel. So basically they're saying Tony could have became a disciple after the crucifixion, resurrection of Christ, met a woman, you know, had little divine kids and went on, and we would have still been talking about Tony today as one of the 12 disciples. But now Tony had to make funeral arrangements, G. Okay? That's how he felt about it after. Like, I'm such an idiot, G. That's nothing compared to what I could have had, says Tony, G. Ooh-wee. So be careful of going back to the past, y'all. So this like you going back to somebody in your past, right? And you marry them, get pregnant, or whatever the hell, or you go back to somebody from your past, and then you meet somebody new. You know, and you're in no position to get with this new person because of what you already committed to back in the past again. That's how Tony felt. And then just watch your empress and your emperor or your whole future just walk by like, damn, I wish I could have that shit. But I didn't know, I already hooked up with this shit. That's how Tony felt. That shit gone. That shit was gone. They said he never saw Jesus again. He never saw him again, which makes me feel like he went looking for him. Like, I'll follow you now. We know how that's that whole shit where your ex want to come back and friends want to come back. I'll follow you now, hoping to run into him in the street and, you know, all of this. He never saw him again, G. Just like people ain't never going to see you again, talk to you again, have access to you again. That shit done. It's a wrap, Tony. Put one down here how Tony felt now. I love when I get this card. I know I'm spot on. I love when I get this card. But this how he felt. I told you he saw the future. He spotted something. He saw something. That his past is covered in spots. Can't change the tigers on the stripe or the dots on the Dalmatian, Tony. Okay, we offering you a brand new slate here. You see? That's what we were trying to offer you, and now you're planted here. Now you're stuck here. Yeah. He felt stuck. And had to say just goodbye to. They must have cremated the mama, not to be rude. But for real, they just threw the mama in the dirt and was like, all right then, mom. While they was waiting on to make the daddy funeral arrangements. Look at the daddy still standing strong. So the daddy didn't even die first. The mama did. Ain't that some shit? So somebody expecting something from somebody, they didn't even get it. So somebody who went back to somebody for some money and shit because you didn't have enough, motherfucker didn't even have no money. But they stuck there now. It's like this type of shit. And now they're seeing like, damn, had I just went towards the convent and shit, I probably could have had shit popping, this, that, and the other. Yeah, but you tore up your ticket, Tony. You tore up your ticket, Tony. It's pretty much what this is. He was stuck, repeating another cycle with his daddy, who was strong than a motherfucker, okay? Strong than a motherfucker. Yeah. His other siblings went on to meet women and have children too. Like if he had brothers, Tony, if he had brothers, they went on to meet women and have children and families of their own. So this will be like the equivalent of like somebody who, say you have a bunch of siblings, right? And you're the one that's always responsible for your parents. And all the other siblings get to go live their life, travel, do all this shit. But you got to stay with your mom and your dad. You know what I mean? It's like, why is the responsibility all on me? Because you went back, Tony. That's why God tried to give you out when Christ asked you to follow him. And you said, nah. That's why you're always the one. You raise your hand to do the shit. That's why, Tony. Yeah. Ooh, let's see what happened to Tony in the end. They said this is a cautionary tale, Convent. So apply this where it goes. But I get it. They said a cautionary tale. Yeah, you see what's gonna happen. We're going back to the past. There's nothing there. Because you've already experienced it, so you know what to expect. People live, people die, people break up, people choose other people, people go broke, people do this, people do that, or whatever. But it's if you're offering someone help and they choose to go back, you know, to whatever it is that you have to let people do them. So you saw Jesus wasn't no chaser, G. Like, I ain't then, Tony, do you? Stay up, bruh. Basically is what Jesus said to Tony and the other man too. What happened to Tony's life? In the end, good old Tony. It took a toll on his house. Maybe he had a son. Maybe he did find somebody. But it still took a toll on his house. That's my Toll House cookie card. 10 of Cups, but it's like, it was heavy. It burdened them all. Like the one that got away. They said it's the one that got away type of energy. I bet, G. So it's like he settled down, had kids, and you know, married, but he just lived in that regular town, in that regular hut, you know what I mean? Ate regular non-bread, like it was basmati, like it was the same shit, like every day. Like, man, do you know? So he probably went around and told people, you know, Jesus asked me to be one of his disciples. And people like, man, shut up, get out of here. He like, nah, for real. But I thought my daddy was gonna die and stuff, but for real, Jesus did ask me. Tony always tell people how he almost was a disciple, G. Wow. So now Tony name dropped for the rest of his life. So that's like somebody saying they used to date you, or you liked them, or you're their baby's mother, baby father, or they were your friend once back in band camp, you know, but y'all didn't stay friends. They weren't really a good friend to you. You know, it's this type of shit. So now they name drop you. So this must be once Jesus became Jesus. You know, like he always was. But I mean, like, you know, like people knew. So now it was cool to name drop him. Didn't nobody believe Tony anyway? They didn't. I have a feeling they did not believe Tony. Sunflower action. Yeah, because they like, well, then why didn't you go? Why didn't you take action if you saw him? Son. You saw the son, the Messiah, and you stay here in this town? Okay, Tony. If you say so, brother. Yeah, just like his friends laughing at him drinking beers. Like, man, that nigga be lying. That's what they said about Tony. Yeah, they be talking about him. Look at the phone lines. I told you. Nobody would understand. Just like people looking at somebody that didn't end up with you and look where you are now, and somebody telling people, man, I used to date that person. They look stupid now for saying that. Because people are like, well, what happened? Like, oh, you know, my baby mama, they need to just shut the fuck up. Or my baby daddy or whatever, they need to shut the fuck up. Gee, stop telling people you forfeited Christ for your baby mama and your baby daddy. That ended up being taking a toll on the house and fucking, you know, or your family. It's like, please don't even tell nobody you met the man. Okay, don't even tell nobody you came into contact with Christ. Because you look like an idiot. Yeah, that's what this is. So somebody may be trying to name drop you as far as they dated you or they worked with you or y'all were friends or y'all grew up together, y'all went to the same school, y'all this, y'all that, and all this other shit. Man, shut your ass up. Tony was irrelevant, okay? Is what happened to Tony. His life became just a regular citizen, G. You know, and it wasn't bad. It looked like he had a good house. It's a happy household. He did have a wife. It looked like he had a little mistress on the side too. Tony wasn't really that happy. Side note, he had a little girlfriend on the side. Or was doing something on the side. I don't know what he was doing, but something on the side, okay? So he was like depressed. You know how people throw their life, I don't want to say Tony threw his life away, but it's like, well, I turned down that job, so I might as well go back to Pet Boys now. Like this type of energy, like, you know? Like just went downhill kind of, just kind of blended in. Yeah, blended in with everyone else. But he didn't have no choice. So he became a regular schmeggy. Yeah, judgment. Every day he got up in the morning like, I will forever be known as the tart that told Christ no! Basically. This is how he felt for the rest of his life every time he woke up and saw himself in the mirror, G. He probably wasn't that good of a husband, friend, or anything else because I'm sure that bothered him. You know, like, you know, that's like something that eats away at you every day. Even though I still have children, go to work, got married, like it still eats away and gnaws away at me that I turned that down, says Tony. And I'm sure it looked like he was under judgment. But I told you God wasn't pleased with Tony telling him nah. So I don't know what took a toll on Tony's house, okay? Yeah, he thought about it all the time. So it's like somebody thinking about how they dogged you out, ghosted you, took something from you, or did something when you were a blessing. They're going to think about it for the rest of their life, G. And that Tony Taurus, ticket up. Okay? There is no ticket, Tony. Okay? Oh. And there was a lot of things for him to still be happy about. You know, so there was happiness in his life. But this like when he's like, I'm going to step away to the bathroom, y'all. Excuse me, I got to use the bathroom. And he go in there and cry. You know what I mean? Or just look at himself in the mirror and be like, man, what am I doing here? This was not supposed to be like this. I was supposed to be with the sun. And now I'm here on regular, you know what I mean? whatever lane, you know? 3434 Sunflower Lane with the old ball and chain now. Like, Tony just never got over it. Ever. Be aware going back to the past. This makes me feel like regrets, y'all. So this is the type of shit, they're basically saying the lesson in this is for those that are considering going back to the past or go to the past, right when you do is when something great comes along and you will not be able to get it or retrieve it because you will have changed yourself. Remember how we saw that chain? You will have changed yourself to, or you will be chained to this and you will not be allowed to leave. So y'all be careful of going back to past shit, whatever the past shit is. Like it'll be branded on you or something. Yeah, crabs in a barrel. Yeah, he just became one of the regular people. Pretty much. Like, hey, that Tony! Tony driving Uber now and shit. It's not funny, but it's like, you know, he just became a regular citizen. Like, you know, you turn down a acceptance letter to the school for gifted children to be an X-Man, to go back to, you know, Crenshaw High School, like, okay, to Fair East Side High. Okay, Tony. Yeah, that's why his life ended up like that. It's not funny, but I mean, shit, that's what they're saying. It's not bad. Sperm jar card with the wisdom and knowledge. Yeah, I told you he stayed in his mind constantly. Stayed in his mind constantly. Like, damn, I don't even know everything I could have known, says Tony. This a cap on wisdom and knowledge. So shit, who knows what I could have learned, did, miracles I could have performed, people I could have met. I could have probably had another son with another woman. You know what I mean? Or son, I don't know what Tony was thinking. All type of shit. This, that, woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's how Tony was for the rest of his life, G. And just sat there thinking. I told you. And he wasn't bad off. Looked like Tony had a house and shit with a woman that just never shut up, probably. Yeah, talked constantly. That he, you know what I mean, got caught up with and, yeah, had a baby with. I'm telling you. What is this before that? Yeah, he wrote his story. That's what you picked, Tony? I ain't seen Tony Daddy yet. Okay? I never did pick up on Tony Daddy dying until a ripe old age when old men usually die. Okay? And by that time, Tony had probably had fought with him because we saw the fight, right? With his brothers, his family, they weren't even getting along at the funeral. That's what this shit is. So Tony realized, like, damn, I forfeited that shit for this. Yup. Yup. Be careful of going back to the past, Convent. But I also feel like that's a cautionary tale. But they said that's also, yeah, good night. Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Yeah. Oh, that Uncle Ricky, he's really weird. Yeah. This is like a bedtime story for y'all, okay? This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Just another case about the wrong path. Straight and narrow, your soul gets cast. Good night. Yeah, I'm on that slick Rick shit. Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Yeah, pretty much. Okay? This is a bedtime story for y'all that are not going through this and you like, hell no, I ain't going back to the past. Yeah, well, this ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh about when Tony tore his ticket up. Okay? Give me something for the convent, what we need to know about this story before I go and shut it down. Yeah, sensing things. This your sixth sense. So your intuition. So listen to it. Yeah, your ancestors are telling you. It's my ancestor card. It's telling you, follow your intuition. Like you're being guided, divinely guided. So you have to pay attention to the signs, synchronicities, the stories that we just went through, right? Like what we just talked about in Luke, right? Pay attention, G. I'm telling you. You could sense this. So some of y'all, that's why they're basically saying when Christ asked Tony to come with him, Tony knew in his gut, like, man, some telling me to go and say, fuck my daddy and all of them. They really don't treat me right. You know what I mean? Ain't shit popping in that town. I really need to go. But his head went and ruled over his heart. is what they're saying. In this instance, when he knew, he could sense it, like my whole life could change, like I'm about to be made pure, whole, all of this shit, like reborn again. I get to start over and shit. That's what you need to know, is you guys are on your way to this, or this is what God has set for you, some type of rebirth or something like that, something that's a new, right? Be aware going back to your past. A lot of y'all can sense that there's something better out there for you, is what they're saying. Okay, you're not wrong about that. And Tony wasn't wrong about it neither. He just still went the other way, G. And it's not even, that's why I feel bad for him, because shit, he really did think his daddy was gonna die. Then it was his mama. Then he ended up fighting and all this other shit. Then in an unhappy relationship, working at the mechanic. I told you he worked at Pet Boys. We saw the little crab that said, "Hey, Tony!" I told you he worked at Pet Boys or some type of camel shop or something. Okay, it's something like that with like transportation, or he had to go from place to place for jobs when he could have been going place to place to place teaching the word or rolling with Christ. So he was kind of doing the same thing, but not with Christ though. Just with, you know what I mean, Ricky and them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they ain't disciples, they just your homies. You know? What's the lesson in this for the convent? Even though I feel like they all get it, but let's just, you know, wind it on down. Not relationships. These are not the relationships, even though I know it's how you spell not, right? Take the K out. These are not the relationships you need to be going back to, people, places, or things from the past. A lot of y'all can sense that. So it's about control. A lot of these people, places, and things have been controlling us, whether it be society, family, friends, or tradition says, or it's my person, or I love them, or we got kids, and I don't want my baby to not have it, and all this other shit. It's like, it's okay to pick that. That's why that free will shit came up. It's been coming up a lot. But this is still saying, like, you know God. The high priest is here with the Hierophant. You can sense when God is in something, or when God is presenting something to you, or you know it's a blessing. You can sense when something's a blessing and when it's not. Okay? So it's making me feel like you sense that there's nothing in the past that you need to be tied up with. You know, untie yourself. This is not the relationship for you. This is not the job for you, the group for you, the family for you, the friend, whatever the fuck. You sense it. There's nothing here. It feel like everybody done rummaged through the shit. Yeah, some of y'all could be family. I don't know. Okay? And I feel like the same thing with Tony though. For the majority of you, it's family. Where it's like, that's what keeps me here in this state. Like my mom and them here, or my nana, or, you know what I mean? My father, or my kid's dad, or my kid's mom, or it's like this type of shit. But a lot of y'all are forfeiting that, whatever your blessing is for that, okay? If you've been sensing that, like you've been wanting to get out. So they're basically telling me Tony had been wanting to get out from that situation. And it just so happens that he ran into Jesus one day, and Jesus like, come on. So it could have been a fear of Tony's. Like, dang, I didn't ever think I was really going to meet the man or had an opportunity. But we saw Tony that had a few opportunities to get out of some shit. So I ain't really surprised that he turned down Christ when I found out he done turned down other opportunities. So this the major one. This the main one. You know what I mean? That could change your life forever. I feel like y'all are at that point in your life where great things are about to happen, and something from your past that wants to control you or is being controlled. If this ain't you, then someone or something else is being controlled by some energy like this. And you know you can't get tied up with that shit neither. You sense someone stuck. You sense someone is gonna stay and bury their father. And you know what I mean? Or wants to stick around to see if their daddy died so they could be there to bury him. And you like, man, I know that ain't nothing but somebody getting stuck in some dead shit. If you know what I mean. Some of y'all are forced to leave, untie yourself. This is like, what do they call it? I don't know. My mind slips me right now. Like a slip knot, damn it. It's like detaching. Cutting off somebody. Detaching, but you have to. Or some belief. If it's not somebody, it's a belief. It's like that shit ain't done nothing but keep me trapped up in a maze and thinking I can't do, can't have. It's like lack mentality. When you sense God trying to push you in something totally different, even though it could be scary. Because you like, shit, everything else done failed. So what if this fails? Is what this energy would be. But something about this time says it's not. This is you sensing it. Like, nah, I'm untied out of all that other shit. So this should be different. You're right. So Tony knew Christ felt different from all the other shit. You know what I mean? All the other people he had met. You felt different from all the other women and men that people have met in whatever circumstance and shit. And people still said, I gotta go bury my daddy. I'm sorry, excuse me. Like, so Tony could have been intimidated. I don't know. Let's see what the lesson is for us though. Let me keep moving. Yeah, y'all climbing the ladder to success, like I said, G. 6 of Pentacles. She look like she trying to help someone up, though. And I feel like something's just for you. Because they said Christ asked him, you, come follow me. This will be you like, oh, I will. I do want to accept your offer. But first, I got to go back to my daddy's house and get my daddy a hand. Because we were working on the kitchen, Lord. We were just remodeling and putting the new stuff. He like, silence, please. Then go on. Go on in. Yeah, y'all know. It's like, after that, then what? After that, then what? So this is like sensing that something that's been permanent in your life is now supposed to be temporary. Okay? Old news, old things, old whatever the fuck, right? So once, basically they're saying, once you finish remodeling the kitchen, say Tony said that, like, sorry, I gotta remodel the kitchen, we were just doing this. Well, once the kitchen remodeled, then what? Then you go back to feeling sad and lost and stuck again? You know what I mean? It's like, that's why God is saying, I'm trying to take you out of that, Tony. You know what I mean? Your daddy will figure out how to get the kitchen and all that shit together. You know what I mean? It's like, don't you notice you the only one there helping your daddy out? Anyway, where your other brothers and sisters? How come you always the one helping Tony? You know what I mean? Or how come you always the one there and they lived your life? Be careful of getting stuck in that shit. It's like somebody that claims that they need you and they just might, but God needs you more. Yeah, and you know it, Convent. Something about your intuition, or you just have a knowing. Like you're meant to be. Yeah, and time is a ticking, G. And time is a ticking. Time waits for no man. So this like Tony sitting there waiting for his daddy to die, and then just Tony die next. Like that's your life. So basically your daddy had you, Tony, for you to sit around and wait on him to die. And then you had your kids for them to sit around and wait on you to die, and so on and so forth. Nobody was supposed to get out and live and build and do and see none of that shit, huh? Because of just, tradition or family or some shit like that, Convent. Be aware. It's you guys are already undoing this knot. If you're tied up in this, you're coming unloose, but you're not completely free. So this is like something popping off, with some people or whatever that you separated from, and now you feel obligated to go back, or you have to after God told you to separate, G. Okay? Be aware. You're going to get tied up again. I feel like the opportunity is gone, or the door closes or something like that. Okay? If you go backwards. This damn sure something you done got out of. This really feels like family, y'all. Okay? So somebody could be sick, or something like that, and God is like, oh, I got a new job for you on the East Coast, though. And so you live on the West Coast, and say somebody's sick, and you like, dang, God, I can't leave now. You know what I mean? And he like, are you sure? I got a brand new job, the career you've been waiting for, but it's on the East Coast. Just move. You like, man, I can't go now. My family's sick. And say that family member is sick, and that family member passes away, and they go on to be with God. And now you sitting here still stuck on the West Coast and can't find a job, G. That one on the East Coast gone. Your loved one with God. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Wherever God has you going, the loved one, the family, or something like that is with him already too. So it's a trick to stay stuck in the past, especially if somebody dying or died. Let's just say that. And I know how hard it is, y'all, But using this as an example, it's like, well, then after that person got sick and passed away, now you want to move to the East Coast to go get the job. That job is no longer. You're not in a relationship with the East Coast or that job anymore. You forfeited that. It's something that's it's tough, Convent. Whatever this is, that you're going to have to keep walking. Keep moving forward. Do not go back to the past. I'm telling you, it's something where people get stuck in a karmic cycle, and whatever it is they think they can go back to is not available anymore. Just like you see how I fell down? Just like you're not available anymore to certain people or certain jobs, certain homes that people didn't, respond back to, or you didn't have the money in time. Nothing wait for nobody, okay? Nothing y'all damn sure don't. So that's what they're saying. Make sure you don't forfeit some blessing because someone else is stuck in some belief or some way of being and shit. That was a blessing for them. You already the blessed one. So don't forfeit your blessing because somebody is humming and hawing and shit and want you to wait on them till they get ready for theirs. Nah, it don't work like that. I guess you just miss out on the blessing, but I ain't about to miss out on mine. Be aware, y'all. Put one more down here for the lesson for the comment, and we'll close it out. Let me know what y'all thought about this reading. Even though I think y'all like these. I do anyway. It don't matter. I'm going to still do them anyway when they tell me to. But I thought this was an interesting story to be like, yeah, Give me one here. This is the cautionary tale. Yeah, just another case about the wrong path. Yup. They keep saying that. So something's a lie, because whenever Slick Rick comes on, that's my 7 of Swords. So to go back to the past will be a lie. It's a lie to go back there. Nothing's better. 5 of Wands with the shady card. Yeah. This is like, you're gonna be mad. So this is like faith, okay? So basically they're saying most people would go back to the past because something is covered up. It's shaded, you know what I mean? But 9 times out of 10, hindsight is 20/20, which is why we saw the dog. It's like a lot of people get upset when they realize what this was all about. It's like, yeah, it was hidden from us, but that's like, that's what faith is. That's what having faith is that shit is covered up. We don't know what the future holds. I don't know why God put this person in my life, or why we're supposed to come together, meet, why I'm supposed to drop my family, drop my job, and follow the Messiah. I don't know. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like that type of energy. But this is like when people fight against that shit, right? And then stay stuck in the past, and then they end up mad because eventually the leaves fall off the tree, or you prune this back and you see exactly what's going on. And someone's mad because they're stuck in the past. It's like, now I got the vision. Now I see what you were saying. Now I know who you are. Now I know what this is about, but it's too late. You know what I mean? Because somebody didn't walk by faith. It's like, well, that's not faith if you had to see what it is first before you made a move. That's the total opposite of faith. Faith is like believing without seeing. Okay, walk by faith and not by sight. And that's what y'all are doing. We don't know. This says you can't see the forest through the trees. So we don't know what's in the jungle. We don't know what the fuck is in there. And it's kind of irritating and all that shit to not know, but we still know that we want to move forward because there's nothing behind us. There's nothing in the places where we came from. So we'll just fight and use the machete and cut through the trees till we see what the fuck is going on. But it's better than going back to the past. It's like, I'd rather fight my way through the future than fight my way in the past, like being stuck in the past. You know, like, so somebody felt it was safe. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. They said we should rather fight our way through the future than stay stuck in the past. You know, but this takes work. This takes work, faith, and all that shit, right? Is what the future takes. The past don't take that because you already know what to expect. You already know what you tied up into, everything. It's just a couple steps here. You ain't really going nowhere. You know what I mean? It's like safe here. But the future and blessings and all that, it's like, it ain't safe, G. It ain't safe for the black or the white girl or the boy or whatever color you are. Ain't nobody safe. It's not a safe journey. This spiritual journey or none of that, it's not something that everybody's going to be happy with you doing, you know? So basically Tony's family was going to be upset, you know what I mean, that he left and decided to go walk with the Messiah, but it come with the territory, you know what I mean? So everybody's not going to be pleased. So yeah, you don't know who's going to stand behind you, who's still going to ride with nothing. But the future's got to be better than the past is what we're saying. So shit, don't be like Tony. Don't be like Tony, y'all. Okay? What's at the bottom? Yeah, the energy. What is this? Yeah, you can feel the energy. Queen of Cups with the energy. Yeah, so you already know. When you come into contact with people that are stuck in the past, things that are stuck in the past, places, whatever, like they're not upgrading, you know, any of that shit, you could feel the energy. You could tell by what they talk about, how they act when they come around, all that shit. Don't waste your time. Tell them to go on and go back then. What he say? What the man has said, He said, your business is life, not death. And life is urgent, okay, is what he has said. You can feel the energy. Look at the times we living in. Why the fuck are people still talking about the past, stuck in the past, worried about some shit that's inevitably going to happen? Or people that had already lived their life, you know what I mean, and did what it is they had to do in this life, and you ain't did shit, and y'all still worried about that? That's what they're telling us. Like, you can feel that that's really deep down what it is, and that it ain't no good. You know what I mean? It's not going to get us anywhere. So be aware of repeating a generational, like, I won't say it's a curse. Well, it kind of is, but it's not. It's a curse on the planet then. It's not like on family. It's a curse on everybody's family. if that's the case, because everybody's heartstrings are tied to something that wants to keep them with them, and it's not really getting them where they want to be. Everybody suffers from this in some type of way, whether it's a family member, a friend, or whatever it is. So it's like an earthly curse, you know what I mean, that only a few have been able to break. You know what I mean? And teach their kids. No, I want you to really go out. You know how parents tell their kids, I want you to go out and do whatever it is. I support whatever it is you want to do. And then when you try to go do it, like you'll see some parents that do that, whenever you try to go do it, they stop you, or they don't support you, or they don't help you achieve this. But it's something to say. Yeah, y'all ain't them type of people. You really want your kids to go out there, even if it means you move across the world and whatever. You know what I mean? If that's what you feel like you led to do, and that's what God put on your heart. But we're those type of people. You know, you're the one to break this generational curse. So Tony was chosen to do it. Shit, so Tony family probably still doing that shit. You know what I mean? Missing opportunities. There's probably a Tony generation, if you feel what I'm saying. Like Tony's generation that lives on today, they probably turn down opportunities and can't recognize a blessing, or you know what I mean, a chosen one, an earth angel, or know when God is reaching out to them, lending them an olive branch, all that shit. We meet people like that. That's the Tony generation, G. Okay? Anyway. Convent AP Master's class, that's been, I don't know. Okay, I guess that's been Bible class. Okay, with the Ghetto 9. It may or may not have resonated. It wasn't really supposed, I mean, I guess it was. I don't even know what I would even say with readings like that. I don't know what I said the last time. But still, thank you for being here. How about that? Okay, please hit a heart or something, or leave a comment or whatever. Let me know what you think. Okay, in the comments section. Info for private readings will be below the video. You can purchase your DU gear, your lifelike deck, your doll face deck at theghettonow.com, and I will talk to you later. Love you. Bye.